This is the 85th episode of the Effective Executive and YouTube channel podcast uh, and podcast. This week, I'm going to announce that I am starting a second channel that I talked about months before, covering more of economics all the way to trading. It's a topic that I often discuss with executives, past, present, future. Um, it's a hot topic right now. There's a lot of things going on. And I've learned a lot about executives by how they trade, how they invest, um, what their thoughts are on the economy, and this obviously also bleeds over into political things. And these are broader systems that executives need to consider as they're running their businesses. And you learn a lot about people. I've had people that invest only in Bitcoin, 100%. Not a path I would take, and this would give me in this channel the opportunity to share my thoughts on that. So, going back to a previous episode that I did called Don't Confuse Brains with a Bull Market. And that goes back to an adage on Wall Street that when things are going well, it's easy to invest, right? The market's going straight up. Well, we've had basically a secular bull market for the last 40 years. And I believe is coming to an end. I've placed episodes out there that I've started to say I do something quarterly. I'm sure it'll be like a Venn diagram. There'll be some overlap of some of the things I'm talking about on the Brains and Bulls channel versus the Effective Executive channel. And I want executives to be successful, and executives have good incomes for the most part, and in order to as you get that income coming in, you obviously want to have it for the future. And so that's the reason, and one of the reasons that I'm starting the channel. But there's also overlap. You know, I look at for the effective executive, I'm looking at, an aim, synthetic thinking, data, decision making, innovation. Those are all things I talk about in the effective executive episodes. And these things are the same thing. AIM's pretty clear with regards to investing, and that is that you want to protect and grow your personal wealth. I mean, it's pretty simple as far as what your aim is. But I think taking a systems thinking view, a synthetic thinking view, that we take it from very big picture, as I normally try to build with organizations around not only their aim, but how their system is put together, taking it from economics and the theories associated with it, everything from Adam Smith, classical economics, to Keynesian economics, to Austrian economics, supply side. There are all these terms I'm hoping to educate executives on, so they can I think it helps understanding broader systems like this. And it may not be for you, that's fine. But I do find that most of the conversations I have with executives, they want to talk about these types of things at some point. And so I want to utilize that. If you're thinking about this in a certain way, then you ought to be thinking about these. So, when we're looking at synthetic thinking, economics, going to influencers on economics and trading, and using data, and what does that mean? And I've discovered a whole series of things over the years about, things like technical analysis and fundamentals, and I want to be able to have an opportunity to share those things. And decision making. There's a new field earlier when, as this podcast was more focused on the neuroscience of things. neuroeconomics. We talked to Dr. Paul Zak about that in an early episode, and the psychology that goes into trading and manias and things of that sort. It's really interesting stuff, and I'm actually hoping to attract a larger crowd of executives that maybe get interested in that and bleed over into the effective executive. So it's all the same stuff, and from an innovation standpoint, there are contrarians that are out there with different theories, and they've got a lot of great information that I want to share and make you available. How deep you want to go is up to you. I'm just going to kind of provide general information with links to books and YouTube channels, because most of the contrarians are on YouTube channels. You don't see them on mainstream media much anymore. You kind of got everybody singing from the same hymnal, and so these will be things that I think will be good for your ability to understand the broader things at work in the economy that are affecting your business. So I love the tie-in. I like I said, it's a Venn diagram that overlaps, and the thing I'm recording. Have been recording and made adjustments and editing and thought about this quite a bit is a kind of an overview playlist in YouTube, and I will only find it on YouTube. I'm not going to have it on a podcast. I'm moving more towards YouTube as time goes by. But I'm going to have in the playlist things like economic theories, just kind of giving you the basics of it. Many business executives are familiar with it, and many aren't. And things change over time. And so in theories, you'll be talking everything from, like I said, classical to Keynesian to Austrian, getting into the influencers. And one of the things that I'm a big advocate of is you really need to be your own fiduciary. You can have advisors, but I think you need to know what's going on. And I think that this a YouTube channel will help do that. So look for, I'll be talking about this over the next few episodes in the Effective Executive, but give you a chance to get to that channel, maybe sign up for it, kind of get a feel for what's going on. But I'll probably release several episodes all at once just to kind of kick the thing off. And I think people need to develop an investing narrative. Executives need to, and kind of a secondary thing for me, and maybe even primary, is just kind of something to give my kids about investing and trading and all of those types of things. And hopefully, it provides ideas. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not here to replace those things, but I think you can become a better investor if you are familiar with some of the things that are around you, as well as a better executive. I mean, these are all things that affect you as an executive, and kind of get an understanding of the thinking that I'm trying to have executives embrace. So, I may add to this overview playlist over time. There'll be just kind of some tactical things that you can do that'll be released. I don't know how many times I'll do it during the course of a month or a week at this point, so I'm not committing to a particular schedule. But I have a lot to say about it because I see some things that are happening and read some interesting things that I want to have the opportunity to share. And I think you have to have a certain mindset. You have to have your theories. You got to have your methods, just like you do in business with the way that you go about investing. What I do may not work for you, but it will also provide you stimulus on some ideas of things that you can do that maybe fit your style. And that's really what I'm here to supply is education. And give you some things to think about. And I'll probably have the same tagline, which is that there's always a better way. There's always some new perspective. There's always a better way of improving your investing, your understanding, as well as the things that we do with the effective executive. So that's what I wanted to cover this week. I'll catch you next week.